June 1942. Months after Pearl Harbor, the unthinkable happened. Japan invaded American soil. This wasn't a tropical beachhead in the South Pacific, but the frozen, wind-swept Aleutian Islands of Alaska, a place most Americans barely knew existed. On Attu Island, 1,200 Japanese soldiers surged ashore, quickly overpowering a tiny American garrison of Coast Guard troops and weather observers. Simultaneously, 500 Japanese troops secured Kiska Island with zero resistance. The human cost was immediate and devastating. On Attu, 40 Unangan Aleut villagers fell under enemy occupation. Their schoolteacher, Charles Jones, died trying to protect them, executed by the invaders. The surviving villagers were shipped to prison camps in Japan. Ravaged by disease and starvation, many never saw their ancestral home again. For Washington, the crisis was staggering. Hundreds of Americans and indigenous villagers trapped under the Japanese and were poorly equipped to retake the islands. America suddenly had 6,600 miles of frozen coastline to defend with almost no Arctic training. In response, local indigenous Alaskans stepped up, forming the Alaska Territorial Guard. Patrolling the sub-zero wilderness on skis and dog sleds, their intimate knowledge of the brutal terrain became America's first line of defense in the North. By 1943, the tide turned. It was time to take back the Aleutian Islands and reclaim America's northern frontier. Fresh off the victory at Guadalcanal, U.S. and Canadian planners set their sights on the Aleutians. May 11, 1943, the Battle of Attu. 8,000 Allied troops landed amidst screaming willy-waw storms and blinding fog. The Japanese were entrenched in a labyrinth of tunnels and jagged peaks. It was a nightmare. Frostbite and trench foot claimed as many men as enemy bullets. On May 29th, the Japanese launched a final desperate Banzai charge, one of the largest of the war. When the smoke cleared, nearly 550 U.S. soldiers were dead. The Japanese garrison was almost entirely annihilated. August 15, 1943, the landing on Kiska. Expecting another bloodbath, 34,000 Allied troops stormed the fog-choked beaches in a massive show of force. But the island was eerily silent. Under the cover of the heavy North Pacific mist, the Japanese had secretly evacuated weeks earlier. Despite the absence of an enemy, nearly 300 Allied soldiers died, victims of friendly fire, mines, and the treacherous Alaskan terrain. The Aleutian Campaign remains a haunting anomaly, the only time since the War of 1812 that a foreign power occupied U.S. soil. It was a war of ice and isolation, fought by indigenous scouts and shivering infantrymen in the most hostile conditions on Earth. Yet, despite the heroism and the tragedy, this 1,000-mile war has largely vanished from our collective memory. It serves as a stark reminder. World War II wasn't just fought in the hedgerows of France or the jungles of Guadalcanal. It was fought in the fog of our own backyard, on a frontier the world almost forgot. We must remember those who sacrificed their lives to retake the islands, and the islanders who never returned home. The last to fall defending our home soil.